Hi everyone! A couple days ago on my previous video, Eileen suggested something that caught my eyes. She asked me if I had ever used gouache on canvas. I must say the thought never crossed my mind. I thought it was a really good idea and I researched it a little bit. And there's pros and cons, so from what I found out, I thought that using a canvas board like the little PBO ones that I got for Christmas would be a safe bet because they're hard. They're not flexible, I guess, like a stretch canvas. And some people say that gouache on canvas, as long as they aren't prepared, they're on gessoed, might work better. But those little canvas panels that I have, they are already gessoed. It doesn't look like it, but I think it's a clear one. It's a little shiny, so I'm pretty sure it is already gessoed. I decided to go ahead anyway and try it. So first I had to find a pencil that was dark enough but not too much so that I could sketch on it. And I don't know why a penguin just popped in my mind when I decided to paint on this canvas. Maybe because of my tendencies of drawing on toned tan paper and really liking the white to pop on that color. I figured the white belly of a penguin would really stand out well on this kind of canvas, and my goal was to not really do much of a background. So after struggling a little bit with my sketch, knowing that it would be easy enough to erase any mistakes, and in any case gouache is opaque enough that it would have covered the lines anyway, I used a kneaded eraser to tone down those lines a bit because they were really dark. And then I took out my gouache. I also wanted to try my new Holbein gouache from Japan, and so I was very excited. And I started mixing, and I knew that if I put too much water to start, it would not stick to the canvas because it's kind of waterproof with the gesso on it. So I did not put very much water to do my mixes, and it worked pretty well. I could feel it slide a little bit on the canvas, but it stuck to it. I knew I had to be careful and I had to make sure that the layers were dry before I added more. I did have to add several layers to make sure the opacity was good enough to cover the color of the canvas. But the paint is a dream to use. I'm gonna have to test it on paper because I'll probably have an even better experience on paper. But I must say that it was pretty nice to use on canvas. Those paints are very creamy and they blend really well. I honestly didn't have any trouble. When I was done with the penguin, I gave it a little bit of snow to stand on. And then I debated adding a little bit of sky in the background. I kind of liked it with just the snow to ground the penguin. But I thought that a little blue sky behind it, not all around it, would look nice with the yellow-orange of the penguin, some complementary colors together. I thought it would make it stand out a little bit. And so I decided to go for it, and I added some. At some point I thought I had added a bit too much. So the beauty of gouache is that it's water based, and if you add water to it, you can remove it. On this canvas, because it was covered with gesso, it was basically water repellent. That means that the gouache didn't sink in at all, so it was very, very easy to remove. So I kind of pushed and pulled that background. I was not quite sure which direction to go, and eventually I just stopped when I thought it was okay. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was better without the background, just a snow, or do you like it with the blue background like this? I just have a hard time deciding. When I was done with the painting, I waited about 24 hours and I decided to seal it. I didn't know how stable the gouache would be on the canvas, considering how easy it was to remove it. So I didn't want, in case any water fell on it, I didn't want it to ruin the painting. So I took my little jar of Dorland's wax medium. I'd read about it a while ago in somebody's blog, and then I researched it a little bit more. A lot of people have videos about it. It's really neat. You can seal a lot of paintings with that. Some people use it to seal their watercolors. I mostly bought it for gouache, and especially in my sketchbooks. That way I can do a painting on the two sides of the papers and not have them rub each other, and they are protected. It's a really nice wax. You just put a little bit on your finger and you rub it and you spread it all over your painting, and a little bit goes a very long way. It does not remove any paint. You can see that there is no color on the wax, there is no color on my finger, there's no color on the paper towel that I used to wipe my finger on it. It doesn't move anything. The only thing that it does, it actually brings out the colors a little bit and darkens the painting a tiny little bit. But I kind of like that actually. Also, usually the finish of a gouache painting is matte. And this does not make your painting glossy, but it gives it a very slight shine, which is not bad at all. It doesn't prevent you from seeing your painting. It doesn't make it all glossy and shiny. I personally like using it to seal my gouache paintings, and in this case, for instance, it really brought the painting all together. It evened out the shine of the canvas and the matte area of the painting, so now it's uniform throughout. So if you've been looking for something safe to use for your gouache paintings, your watercolors, this is actually also for oils and a few other mediums, this I recommend. So anyway, the answer is yes, it's possible to use it on canvas. It looks really nice. Don't put too much water with your paint, otherwise it'll just glide over your canvas. Don't make it too thick either, unless it's on a hard surface like a panel like this. And if your canvas was already gessoed, I would suggest to seal your painting after that. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this little video. Eileen, thank you very much for the suggestion. In the near future, I will have another video trying the Holbein gouache on paper. But for now, I'll wish you a wonderful day and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!